Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is To Back or Not to Back. We're going to be going over a whole bunch of crowdfunding campaigns, links as always to everything down below. And as usual, before we start, we're going to go ahead and start off with, I guess technically that is part of starting. As we start, we're going to start with Cult of the Now. Cult of the Now, where we take a look at an existing, currently available game, and in this case, we're taking a look at Mosaic, A Story of Civilization, available on Card House for $49.79. This is where I basically try to say, hey, I love Kickstarter, I love crowdfunding, I'm backing a lot of games, I'm always backing a lot of games. It's a very exciting journey. There's lots of pros and cons and reasons to love Kickstarter and crowdfunding and all that stuff, but sometimes getting a game now is better. Getting a game for $50 instead of $200 is better. Getting a game well vetted by reviews instead of risking out and hoping that it is, after all, a good game. Sometimes those things are better. So for Cult of the Now, we have Mosaic, A Story of Civilization for $50. Spoiler, not spoiler, disclaimer, I have no idea what the main differences are. Let me take a I love Mosaic. I think it's excellent. I don't know all the differences between the Colossus edition and the retail edition, and you are missing out in some extent, but you know what you're getting instead? Like $170 extra, so there's always that. And with that, let's go ahead and start off the bat, and we're going to be diving straight into board game adjacent first, and then a whole bunch of campaigns, no updates, no cancellations, one that's technically not funding, but like by $20, so like we're going to count it as funding. But the Modular Desk, built by Wormwood, designed by you. This is a Wormwood product that is not funding. This is both not funding and board game adjacent, although $2.4 million, I don't know if we can really count that strongly as not funding. The flip side is, I mean, I think this will fund. This looks like it'll fund, not like that Hero Escape thing on Hasbro Pulse, but this looks like it'll probably fund. This is Wormwood setting a very large goal for a modular desk. As with all things Wormwood, highly recommend you watch the video. It's very entertaining, very pretty, very shiny. Will definitely make you want to spend money for better or for worse. In my case, spending like $5,000 on a upgrade to my desk is something that I'm tempted by, make no mistake, but something I can pass on. And yes, you are looking at $5,000 or more, possibly a bit less if you really go for like the smallest budget thing. These prices over here are basically down payments, deposits. That $500 is not the price of your desk, that's your deposit. Lots of cool things here, and lots of accessories that will mix and match with your other Wormwood products. If you have a Wormwood table, depending on the table possibly, and you have a Wormwood desk, you can mix and match your cup holders and benefit from double accessories and bag holders and all these fun things. Make no mistake, this looks absolutely like a premium product. Watching the video, the way this is designed, it feels like a work of love, and I want it. I just don't $5,000 want it, at least not right now. Moving on to the board game, starting off the bat with Warcrow Adventures. 8 days to go, 2,000 backers, $255,000 raised. This is from Corvus Belli, who are famous for a bunch of their games, including, give me a second here, Aristhea, and other games. Just Aristhea is the one I have next to me over here. But Warcrow Adventures is them diving into dungeon crawling. With Warcrow Adventures, an app-based dungeon crawler where you'll be utilizing the app to generate the story, to have interactions, as you wander around the board, as you manage your initiative track, as you manage your action selection system. This is a game that I have both played and also don't really have a firm idea as to whether it's good or not, because the one scenario the prototype had really was one of those kind of like, you know, impossible to win boss fight scenarios where you're going to lose no matter what, and there wasn't really a lot of combat past that, so I have like read the rulebook and gotten the barest hint of what this game is. It's a dungeon crawler with a great initiative system. I like the initiative system. The rest of it I haven't had a chance to really dive into and see that much of, so maybe it'll be good. We'll find out when I actually have a chance to play. Or let me rephrase that. I'll find out my opinion when I have a chance to play. My opinion does not mean it's good or not. My opinion is just my opinion. But with that, what do we have over here? So we have a dungeon crawler, and it is not cheap. This is typical for Corvus Belli. Their products are premium, but they are expensive. They are, you know, you're looking over here, $120 for the core pledge over here, and if you look what you get in the core pledge, it does seem less than what you would typically get for a $120 pledge on Kickstarter. It's the sheer amount of content. Even if you compare this to, like, let's say Kinfire, it just seems like there's less content comparable to a game like Kinfire. Let's see if we can find the what you get over here. Here's what you get. So you have, you know, you have your miniatures, your 1, 2, 3, 4 heroes over there, fifth hero over here. Is that a hero? That looks like a hero. We have the enemies, a handful of enemies, not a absolute ton over here. So that's what we got. We got tiles. This is looking at like a zombicide size core box in terms of the content you get with stretch goals coming in, but it is expensive for what you get, but also, again, premium product, premium pricing, and they do tend to hold their value overall. It's not a for sure guarantee. Corvus Belli has experimented with different things, including metal and PVC, and so they've had different product lines in that sense, but overall their games have held their value just fine. Their games are expensive, they're hard to get, they are generally well rated. Again, I'm not saying this game is bad, I'm not saying it's good, I'm saying I don't know yet, I need to properly play it, but I do generally, I would say I have a decent amount of confidence in their games just from how well they have been rated across the board. Aristhea, which I really have to play, it's like an 8.1 or 8.2 on Board Game Geek. I need to dive into that one. We passed the core pledge, that's for the $120 for the core pledge, and then $178 for the platinum pledge, bringing you the Death Claws of the Dream expansion. And then you can buy a few optional add-ons as well. They give you a bunch of options for like various things that will cost you decent amounts for what you get. This is the Dungeon Crawler Warcrow Adventures by Corvus Belli. Moving on to Dreadful Meadows, the Deluxe Edition. Dreadful Meadows, this is not the one that's not funding. Delta is the one. We'll get to Delta. Dreadful Meadows, the Deluxe Edition, coming to you from Arcus Games, who did Shelfie Stacker. They did Shelfie Stacker last year. Now they have Dreadful Meadows, and the only thing they have in common is, well, not the only thing, but the main thing they have in common is both of them are adorably thematic games. Dreadful Meadows over here, giving off strong family-friendly vibes, although if you pay attention to the words used in many reviews, they're all like, don't think this is just a kid's family-friendly game. This game has a bit of bite to it, so make sure to pay attention to that. Kind of reminds me a lot of Power Plants in the sense that it looks like it could be family friendly while having a decent amount of depth to the actual experience while being layered over with a kid family friendly charm to it. Power Plants from KTBG. But Dreadful Meadows is a worker placement game as you build out your field, trying to match up what you need to do as you try to vie for the various goals you're going for, as you go through a worker placement pattern of generating your goods or your tiles or whatnot, your harvesting or whatnot as you grab the tiles, add them to board. Overall, looks like a fairly common usage of a bunch of mechanisms we know, while all coming together in a beautifully well done package with a charming Halloween and spooky theme and all good things, and enough testimonials and content around the game that it seems like it might have a solid bite to it. It's available on Tabletopia if you want to try it out, or alternatively tons of content you can check out there. And the price point for this over here is we have $49 for the deluxe edition of the game, and then to the $70 for the deluxe plus the Tricks or Treats expansion, and then $84 for everything Dreadful Meadows, although I'm an all-in person and I'm probably skipping that pledge because that includes the bundle of treats over there, which is pins and stickers and a patch, which I don't feel the need to pay extra for. I'm happy with the $70 for the deluxe edition and Tricks for Treats expansion of the game. Looks charming, got acrylic miniatures over there, acrylic stand, harvesters, some silkscreen meeples, lots of fun things, solid insert. Again, production, quality, the look, all these things very solid across the board, and generally positive testimonials as far as the game's concerned. As far as should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value? Ooh, we have the Dreadful Meadows expansion. Should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value? All of that. Generally looking at Shelfie Stacker has done pretty decently. The game, if it has a retail edition of the game, the retail edition of the game will be cheaper, but come with less of those fun goodies. So if you're looking at the game and you're interested in it and you do want all those funsies, I would say it's probably worth paying attention to. If you're on the fence, you can check out the Brothers Murph gameplay or check it out on Tabletopia. And that is Dreadful Meadows Deluxe Edition from I lost the name, Arcus Games. Moving on to Escape from New York by Kevin Wilson by Pendragon Game Studio over on GameFound. Kevin Wilson, who's done a ton of design work for, I believe, mostly Fantasy Flight, if I'm not mistaken. But Escape from New York, this is from Pendragon Studios, who recently did The Thing. So they're basically taking John Carpenter IPs and turning them into board games. That's what they are currently doing at the moment. Not exclusively, they're doing other things too, but that's definitely got a degree of overlap there. Escape from New York. The president has crash-landed in the blockaded off New York, and it's up to you, the players, in this semi-cooperative, yes, if you cringed inside, I've already done that, it's up to you, the players, to go through the semi-cooperative experience of rescuing the president in New York. That's what's going on. That's the theme of the movie. I haven't really told you anything if you knew the movie already, but you're going to be going ahead in this semi-cooperative game. Well, I told you it's semi-co-op, so I guess I told you that. But in this game, you're going to win in one of two ways. You're either going to rescue the president, and then escape together, all working together nicely, doing your thing, meanwhile managing the various mobs and gangs and all that stuff. Basic, cooperative game, having the player's turn, the game turn, the player's turn, the game turn, as you try to survive and rescue the president. Or alternatively, if you've managed to accomplish your own personal goals, you can win on your own. So you're balancing which of those things you're trying to do, either winning on your own or winning with the other players. Again, that's the semi-co-op nature of things, which I don't typically love. I am curious to see how it implements in this one, but we'll see. But I mean, in general, semi-co-op for me has always been a very, very big danger code word for just, will this game system work for me or not? But anyways, that is Escape from New York. They have a bunch of expansions as well. They have Fifth Fleet expansion. They have a Police Force expansion. They have, I missed one over there, the Hero set, if you want more miniatures instead of meeples, for a variety of all the things over here. That's basically what we got. And they have a few other things, like I saw there's a module that potentially maybe is a stretch goal. Stretch goal that gives you, here we go, is the president a dead or alive game variant, where you might find out that you're all on your own and the president's dead and you can't rescue them, so you all have to accomplish your personal goals. So there are stretch goals, there are things being added to the game. That's what we have over here as far as Escape from New York. This is for the deluxe edition of the game. There may be a retail edition of the game. If the thing is anything to go by, there'll be a retail edition of the game later, but without all the deluxe extras. As far as pledge levels, going to the pledge levels, we have the all-in, not a full pledge. That's not FOMO marketing. That's a term from the movie. I guess arguably it's FOMO marketing and a term from the movie. Then we have the core pledge for €59, the hero pledge for €75, and that is basically what you're looking at unless you're a retailer, in which case, hi, welcome aboard here. But that is Escape from New York over on GameFound. Moving to Barbarian Kingdoms by Jester Games over on GameFound, €24,000 raised, 320 on backers. This is an award-winning, fast-paced game of consequence and bluff featuring an innovative battle resolution mechanism, lead of nascent kingdom in the early Middle Ages, and take on your rivals to succeed in the Western Roman Empire. That's their thing over there. As far as the game system itself, I don't actually have a firm handle of all the intricacies of the game. There's a degree of area control with bluffing, with your own management as you try to figure out your taxes and your economy of the game. I watched like a video on it and didn't get a firm sense of exactly what this does, past the fact that what it does supposedly does very, very, very well. But that's Barbarian Kingdoms over here. Pledge levels over here bring you the exclusive deluxe edition pledge for €45, the early bird bundle, which gives you these nice little things to replace those standees for €82, and then again, retailer and all that stuff. As far as getting the game, they basically say, hey, it's no retail plans at the moment at all, and with 321 backers, that seems like it might hold true even later, but we'll see as far as, and if it does go to retail, it'll be a different, aspects of what's included, what the pledge level is, all that stuff, but that is Barbarian Kingdoms over on GameFound. From there, we have Pampero, a clean energy game for 1 to 4 players, 1,000 backers, $100,000 raised, coming to you from Ape Games, or Ape Gamer, I guess. It says Ape Gamer, but it's Ape Games. I was right the first time, Ape Games. That's a Kickstarter profile issue. But anyways, Pampero. Pampero is a game themed around clean energy. It's themed around clean energy as you try to figure out, and also, by the way, side point, I love this section over here. This is a news section, which basically just tells you all the things that have been happening with like, hey, we did this to the campaign, we did this to the campaign. I love that. I think all campaigns should have like a news section that gives you like, it's not an update, it's not. It's like here's the things that have been happening. We released this update, we made this change to the pledge levels, we adjusted this over here, we clarified that, we changed this price point. I think it's such a better version of, I mean, updates have to have a lot of fluff in them and a lot of other things. News is just straight and to the point what's going on. I love it. Side point, whatever. Going back to the game itself, going back to the campaign, this is a game which you're going to, let's see if I can find the board over here. I want to see stuff so I can show you. The video does a pretty good job actually showing you everything you need to know. Also, by the way, there were some other good videos today. We'll see. I might miss them. There's some other good videos today. We have the action board over here. Basically, you're going to be playing cards to your action board, trying to be mindful of where the card goes, because you see these sections over here, like the B and the C. You can tilt the card one way or the other to define where that action has a consequence on your May board, where you have the A's, the B's, and the C's down over here. So you're playing action cards, trying to be mindful of what area they're going to impact. You'll also be mindful of the fact that every few turns you're going to be pulling back an action card, so the timing of what you play and where will define which action cards you get the most use out of it, and eventually you're going to be clearing the whole board and starting again as you try to go through this system, and that's kind of where I run out of my knowledge of the game. I don't know everything about the game, I just know it has some fun systems going on. Also, Think Your Theme has a video if you want to check that. Before You Play has a playthrough if you want to check that, so there's lots of content if you want to find out more about this game. Definitely seems, from what I've seen buzz on Facebook and all this stuff, seems like it generally has been well received from the people who played it. Plus, they have fun things like game trays over here. As far as pledge levels, they have $85 for the game. It is a deluxe game full of wooden resources left, right, and center, all silk screen, with these game trays and the Y trays and all that stuff for the faster setup. I'm a huge fan of that. I believe it has double layer player board. I'm not certain. I can't remember if it has double layer player board. It might not. Don't quote me on that until I could find that there. But yeah, that's what we have as for Pampero. As far as should you back or should you not, will it hold its value? Hard to say on this one. This is very much a deluxe edition of a game with a lot of praise around the experience, which means at an $85 price point and what's going on here as far as the production, you're comparing this to a Vital Lacerda game with the better price point, but also not the Vital Lacerda name. I could see this one going either way, and I'm not willing to really double down on it. I'd guess that it loses something as far as the down the road aspect of things, but that doesn't really hold its value well, but while holding most of its value. But that's very much a guessing game. I would not feel quite confident in this one. Again, as Vital Lacerda, like, heavy euro, big box, glorious production, but high price point with $85, which puts it in a risk area. But that is basically Pampero from Ape Games. Moving on, we have Race to the Raft. 2,679 backers, $215,000 raised. Race to the Raft is from Frank West, famous for Isle of Cats, a game in the top 100, and for me, famous for Isle of Cats Roll and Draw, which I prefer. Is it Roll and Draw, Flip and Draw, Write and Draw? Isle of Cats Write and Draw. I think that's what it is. It's the verb and verb game. But either way, This is Race to the Raft. Race to the Raft is themed in the same universe, but it's a cooperative spatial puzzle in which you're basically laying down these fire tiles that are slowly burning the island down around you as the cats left on the island are trying to make their way to the raft. So all cats will start on the edge of the board and be slowly moving their way inwards along paths of their color. Meanwhile, you're playing cards to alter the terrain, so you're laying these cards down, altering the terrain, being mindful of the fire slowly creeping around you as you work together to try to figure out how to get there across 81 scenarios that will give you a degree of escalation in what the game does and how it does it. I highly recommend watching the video for this. This is one of the better videos I've seen. It's both personal and educational and informative and well done. It's Frank West himself in the video over here. Just a really, really, really well done video. I highly recommend spending the 2 minutes watching the video if you're in any way interested in the game. It has great GIFs of the actual gameplay. Again, escalating gameplay, introducing you more elements, more mechanics. That simple concept I just told you expands outwards across those 81 scenarios. Overall, looks very, very compelling. As far as why get it now, well, you can get it now for, first of all, you can get it at retail later. It will be cheaper at retail, but if you get it now, you do get the Kickstarter pack, which gives you some extras, so you do have to be mindful of there. Do you want the 7 large printed meeples and the upgraded cardboards? You want the 4 special island boards with new challenges, the hybrid fire tiles, the campaign book with 20 new scenarios. All that sounds like a very compelling reason to get this on Kickstarter, which is why I'll be backing this on Kickstarter, because I definitely want this game, and I do want those extras. So retail edition will be cheaper, but Kickstarter, the extras on Kickstarter give you, on Kickstarter you can get the extras, including you can get the exclusive miniature pack as well, which will cost you extra too, but these give you miniatures to replace the otherwise meeples. Speaking of which, you have the option of getting the Isle of Cat miniature pack to replace the meeples in Isle of Cats with miniatures here as well. So if you wanted to upgrade your Isle of Cats game, this pledge level, to be very clear, is specific to Isle of Cats, has nothing to do with Race to the Raft, so only get the Isle of Cats miniature pack if you either have Isle of Cats or just want a bunch of cat meeples. Honestly, there's a larger category of people that fall into here than you might think. But either way, that is Isle of Cats. Again, we have Think or Themer covering the game, so you can check out their content on the game if you want to check that out. We have some other people like Covray checking it out. Lots of solid stuff over here going on in Race to the Raft. And that is, pledge levels are going to come in at, I didn't cover pledge levels, $57 for the Race to the Raft Kickstarter edition. We have $70 to $80 for the Race to the Raft Deluxe edition, which brings you the Kickstarter pack and the miniature pack. And then $125 if you also want the miniatures for Isle of Cats. That's what we have over here. As far as should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value? Short versions, I think it will in this one. The retail edition of the game, make no mistake, will be cheaper. But this game seems to be this game looks very appealing. His other games have done well, and I think this is one that will be sought out, including the Kickstarter edition of the game, for people who want that extra content and those extra scenarios. So I think this is one that will hold its value, with the caveat that the retail edition, if you don't care about the extras, you can wait to retail and get it definitely cheaper there. Next up, we have Delta. Delta, which it looks like it still hasn't funded. It still hasn't funded, even now with the refreshing over here. Wait, is it close? No, it's like $200 shy. We have Delta from Game Brewer over on Kickstarter. 478 backers, $39,234 raised out of a $39,431 goal. It basically counts as funded. With 18 days to go, this will definitely fund. It's just a matter of, I can film this video. By the time you watch the video tomorrow, it's almost certainly funded. But Delta is an adventure strategic board game for 2 to 4 players, coming from Game Brewer with production value. And I mean, first of all, another video worth watching. Highly recommend watching the video. It's excellent. The production value looks absolutely insane. This game looks gorgeous. The art looks gorgeous. Thematically, it's giving me strong Encyclopedia vibes, which it may not be as good as Encyclopedia. It may be better than Encyclopedia. I don't know. And Encyclopedia is my own personal favorite, so like it is what it is. But yeah, it just gives me vibes of Encyclopedia with gorgeous art, a game that looks great as you navigate and manage your little like boat thingies. They're like powered vehicles. They're steampunky. It's different, but you manage the exploration as you go through trying to like, you know, log your discoveries about certain animals as you build up your hand of various animals and people that will help you along the way. Again, strong Encyclopedia vibes for the general gameplay aspect of all the things tying together. Very intrigued by this one. The production just looks insane, the art looks insane, and the game very much looks to my taste. Those are all the good things. Price point over there, and this one is going to run you $55 for that's the subscribers only pledge. This is something smart Game Brewer is doing, by the way. They've always had this concept of being a subscriber to Game Brewer and then getting discounts on their pledges, but now they're including it as a pledge level, which is a very smart thing for them to do. The downside is you will have people who might back it who aren't subscribers. That's the downside. So you're introducing paperwork. The upside is you're informing people in a way that's better than the small little blurb they used to have on their campaign. So that's that interesting trade-off there. Curious to see how that does for them. Past that, they have $74 for the Delta Deluxe edition of the game. And if you want the all-in, which brings you the deluxe insert and storage boxes and the high-quality playmat and 130 premium card sleeves, that's going to run you an extra $30, $40 for all of that stuff over there if you want all of that. So basically, 3 pledge levels. A subscriber pledge, a deluxe pledge, not a retail pledge. They'll have a retail edition of the game later. They don't do their retail editions on Kickstarter. They have those later. And that's basically what we have over here. Despite all of this, it's not funding. And this is a combination of a few things, I think. First of all, Game Brewer has been on an interesting journey over here, and this is a good time to remind you that I do work for Game GameFound right now, which is going to be relevant to the next part I say. But Game Brewer has been on Kickstarter for a while. They jumped over to GameFound. They ran a bunch of campaigns on GameFound. I think they saw lower numbers there and are hopping back. There's all guesswork, and they're hopping back on Kickstarter and trying things out over here. And so they've been on a bit of a journey in terms of a lot of their campaigns have had some quality issues and some missteps that have led to what was, they used to have a very consistent backer audience, and I think some of that has backed off enough to the point that even a game that looks, I mean, maybe it's just my own opinion, but I think Delta looks fantastic. I am very interested in this game. It's on Tabletopia. I hope to get a play in before the game ends. I'm very, very, very interested in this game. But like I said, I think they've lost some people along the way, and I think that it's definitely had an impact on their campaigns. To me, this should have been a day one fun just based on how everything looks. It looks ridiculously premium. It looks... again, maybe it's just me, but I want this game. I haven't played this game. I just want to play this game so I can justify the $75 or even the $115 if I like it enough. I don't know. We'll see. But you can try the game on Tabletopia. Definitely in my plans to do so. I don't know if I actually will because we have like, what, 19 days left? Not enough time. Never enough time. 18 days to go. But yeah, that's Delta over here. As far as should you back or should you not, will it hold its value? That's where it goes into that messy territory. If you look at their campaigns in general have had a mixed bag as far as their Kickstarter versions holding their value. Their Kickstarter versions give you extras, but they also are expensive. And over enough time and with some production issues, they've definitely gone from a, like I used to say about Game Brewer campaigns, that they fall into the category of being a, you'll get most of your money back, if not all of your money back, and it's definitely shifted down to you're likely going to lose something. Even here on Delta, I think that once you factor in shipping and once you factor in all the costs and all that stuff, I don't think you're going to be getting the $100 you paid for this back on the secondhand market. I think you will be taking a hit on it, but it is very deluxe looking and very cool looking, and the question is, do you wait for retail? Don't get it at all those things, those are going to be hard decisions to make because it does look very, very shiny. Moving on to Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. Honestly, this merits a video on itself, but it is what it is. I used to do a Should You Back series where I used to go over individual campaigns, and even for Command campaigns recently, I haven't been doing that, although maybe Death May Die. Do I do it for Death May Die? I don't have time to do it for... I don't have time. You see, I used to do Should You Back videos. It's one of the things I used to do on the channel a lot, and they really filled out the schedule, but then I do too many reviews and too many other videos, and as it is, I have too many things that I kind of dropped the Should You Back stuff and just bundled it into my one To Back or Not To Back, which To Back or Not To Back was really just an offshoot from the Should You Back. This is a weird tangent. Forget everything I said. We'll talk about that in some other video. Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. Second edition, $2 million raised. Technically not $2 million yet, but we'll get there shortly. $2 million raised, 13,627 backers, 22 days to go on a campaign that will likely cross 3 million. I don't know if it'll go that much higher. I'm just guessing from where it's at right now. It's like, it will see. I think around maybe 3.1. Let's go with 3.1 is going to be where this campaign settles. Definitely very successful follow-up to the first edition. This game is a 9.3 on Board Game Geek. You can check out my video on this one. I titled it like possibly the best war game ever, and I stand by that. I stand by that. I think this game will continue to do well. I think this game will continue to get rave reviews. And I think with the second edition lands, this game is poised to potentially... I don't know where it'll go. A lot of it does depend on the retail edition, if there ever is one. This game is very, very highly ranked, or incredibly highly rated, but possibly the highest rated game, and it will still continue to grow on Board Game Geek, becoming a higher ranked game as ratings continue to pour in. You just need enough people actually putting in the actual rating on their game. In any case, this is Oathsworn Into the Deepwood, a game that combines story and boss fighting and a ton of things in a campaign progression, although you could play it episodic as you go. You could jump into them as you want here and there. Not the best way to experience it, but still definitely viable. You're going to have a ton of characters, a ton of options. You're going to have options for a standee version, miniature versions, an armory pack that gives you, armor and gear you can swap in and out with upgradable coins and pouches and tons of ways to spend money. In fact, they have $125 for the base game, standee version of the game, $225 for the core pledge, and then $375 for the all-in. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. Oh yeah, and it also has an app with James Cosmo voicing it. If you watch this video over here, this is a pure hype video, just a reviewer after reviewer. I love this game. This game is incredible. It's amazing. It's good. It's what I've been waiting for. Top 10 of the year. Tons and tons of hype, and the hype is continuing to pour in. I believe I saw, what's it called? No Pun Included, I think, has a copy, so maybe expect a review from them at some point. I assume they'll love it. I don't know. Maybe not. They sometimes surprise me. Either way, there's a whole lot of game going on here. A whole lot of testimonials. A whole lot of people in love. A whole lot of people putting out video after video that continues to double down on the general trend that people love this game. Is it that good? I mean, yes, it is that good. Is it the best game ever? No, it's just a whole lot of people who are currently aware that it's a very good game and giving their opinions that it's a very good game so that you could know that it's a very good game so you can decide now whether to get it or not. Now, before you do get it, or depending on which pledge levels you're looking at, also understand that they are marketing it over here with this over here. This is both a testament to how much stuff you get with the $375 pledge. This is also a cautionary tale that maybe the $125 pledge is good enough for you. That's a decision you can make. I like the all-in stuff, I like the miniatures, I like having all those things, make no mistake, but also understand that it comes at the price point of basically having 4 Gloomhaven size boxes on your shelf. There's a whole lot of stuff going on here. You do not need it all to enjoy this game. Will it potentially enhance your experience? Yes, it will enhance your experience. Will it make it impossible to have it be a game that you take to a friend's house? Likely yes, unless your friend lives next door, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in this game. It's a game that, you know, you can play anywhere from 1 to 4 players. You can control multiple characters. You're always controlling 4 characters in the game, but you can have this fascinating AI system that lets you control them for either simple AI or alternatively fully in-depth the character experience. A lot of content here, and it's a really, really well done game. Great story, great choose your own adventure, great city phases you navigate and figure out how to spend your action economy, how you manage and prep for the fight ahead as you jump into those fight aheads, which are all fascinating challenges with high degrees of replayability based on how you jumped into the fight, based on the characters you use. There's just a ton of good stuff in Oathsworn, a ton of good stuff that has been cemented, and the opinions keep coming in. This is a good game. I recommend watching any of the videos, find the video that doesn't like it, and then use that as your reference point for how bad this game is and figure it, because you do want that. You do want the negative reviews. I just haven't found them yet. I mean, you can check BGG, I'm sure you can find some of them, but this is Oathsworn into the Deepwood. Should you back it? Should you not? All that stuff. Well, first of all, on a personal opinion aspect, if you like this genre, you should back it. If you don't like this genre, that doesn't mean you'll like this game. Just because it's well rated within the genre it's in. If you don't like boss battler, campaign game, story-driven, whatever, this has all that stuff, and if that has never been your jam, I don't know if Oathsworn is going to change your mind. It might, but it's an expensive risk to take. Speaking of risk, as far as should you back it, should you not, will it hold its value on all of that? Yes, this will absolutely hold its value. People holding on to a first edition copy of Oathsworn, they're getting like $500 for a game that they paid $300 for. It is nearly doubled in price because people want this game now, and not everyone is willing to wait a year, understandably so, because people are seeing the reviews now, they're excited about it now, and they want to play it now. And that will likely hold true when this delivers as well, because you'll have the same issue. You'll have people who are seeing more reviews, more content, more hype, more buzz, and a new wave of people who want internet. This game absolutely holds its value. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. Moving on to Canvas Finishing Touches. $369,000 raised, 8,300 backers, 23 days to go. Canvas Finishing Touches gets a reprint and new expansion. Now, it's called Canvas Finishing Touches. I don't know if it will or will not be the last expansion. I feel thematically speaking, it should be the last expansion called Finishing Touches, but it doesn't actually say it will be, or at least I didn't say if it does. But either way, this is Canvas. Canvas is an excellent game. I highly recommend Canvas. Top 100 game of all time. Absolutely agree with that. Canvas is a game that for me, I played it the first time, and I was like, this is light, but this is better than I expected. And I continue to play it, and I continue to appreciate what this game is. This game is one of the better gateway games available, period. It's a game that manages to be appealing and simple to play for someone who doesn't even know the rules of the game they're playing and may still have a good time playing it, versus someone who's trying to actually be competitive and score and optimize because of the overlay system they have. You have these cards that you're overlaying these cards onto another to create your work, your art, your masterpiece. Meanwhile, you have these goals that you're going for that give you what you're trying to get as far as the symbols. And you can be either or both player. You can focus on the art and just care about that. You can focus on the symbols and just care about that. I'm that guy. Or you can go for a combination of both, trying to come up with something that looks good and scores well. I don't know why you do that, but you could do that if that's your preference. And this Canvas Finishing Touches introduces a few new things. They have these frames, first of all, which give you these, as you get the most of certain things, you'll be putting your own piece into the frame. They'll have more content, more cards, more symbols, new types of symbols, more scoring goals. So just basically more content for your Canvas stuff. Do you need this at all? I mean, honestly, if you're budget conscious, I think Canvas as a base game stands on its own. I do think that the first expansion, which I can't remember the name of it, Canvas Reflections, I think Reflections is solid. It's nice, but it almost doubles the price of the game, so there's that. And I think Finishing Touches, I haven't played it, but I don't know if it's necessarily worth it. Meaning, I think if you like Canvas, by all means, spend $110, whatever it costs for the all-in, $120 for the complete trilogy. By all means, get your hands in it if you like Canvas and you know you like it, it's all fine. If you're on the fence, I think the base game will give you, to me, the base game of Canvas gives me 80% of the Canvas experience, and the extra stuff is all nice stuff, but not necessarily essential to have as far as giving you that core, simple experience. And that's Canvas Finishing Touches. As far as should you back it, should you not? Basically, the retail edition of the game has a few less stuff as far as the extras. The extras on Kickstarter have been enough for the other games. For Canvas and Canvas Reflections, they have held their value overall. So if you want those extras and you're waiting for the market to drop in it, this game is well liked and generally has an audience of people that want those extras, and so I recommend getting them if you want your hands on them. From there we have Super Snipers, funded in 36 hours, 277 backers, $11,000 raised. This is, well, first of all, watch this video, absolutely fantastic video. Like the video, like I've played this game and the video hypes me up even more, so I really recommend watching the video. As far as the game itself, the game is a 2-player, or more specifically a 1 to 2 player. There's solo mode as far as the game goes, but a 1 to 2 player game of polyomino sniper placement. That's I mean, it's a mouthful, but that's what it is. It's a polyomino sniper themed game as you play as snipers going head to head as you place polyomino first to track down where your enemy opponent is, and then once you've tracked them down, you know their location. From there you go on to a master grid where you start placing down tiles to slowly eventually hunt them down and kill them, protecting civilians, setting up the kill zone, executing your bullet and final shot. Again, the video is incredibly well done. Like I've mentioned a few videos today that are really well done, and this is definitely up there with those videos. So watch that video as far as the game goes. A bunch of other rules going on. There's a real-time mode, there's a turn-based mode, there's a solo mode, a bunch of ways you can play, a bunch of other aspects as far as the bonuses you get. I'm going very high level. This is not a review. This is a overview Kickstarter thingamajiggy. But as far as should you back or should you not, well, I think the problem here is why is not funding more, because again, video looks good, game looks compelling, it's polyominoes, those typically do well, but I think overall the price point of $48, and that's the price point here. The $25 is for if you're a retailer. So $48 for the game. I think for the when people see a game like this, I think they mentally connect it to Patchwork as far as the box size, the components, all that stuff. And I don't think it's an unfair comparison. But the problem is Patchwork is like a $20 game, and this is a $48 game plus shipping. So you have to factor that in as far as I think that's what's restricting this one from doing better. I think it's a game that is a solid game. I've played it. I've enjoyed it. I recommend it. But I do think that $48 plus shipping puts it at 2 to 3 times the price of Patchwork, and that might be why it's not seeing the success I'd like to see it have. It's a great game, just a high price point for what you're getting over here. As far as should you back or should you not, I don't imagine it'll hold its value. I think that at a $40 price point, I think it's a hard sell, and I do think it's going to be hard to get your hands in it, so there is that to factor in, but I don't think it'll hold its value. From there we have Aqua Garden, Beachcombing expansion for 1 to 4 players. $152,000 raised, $1,500, 1,500 backers, 24 days to go. Aqua Garden is bringing you the Beachcombing expansion as well as 3 new modular expansions to go with the already 3 new before. So at this point we have Aqua Garden, we have Beachcombing, and then we have 6 other small expansions to mix into it. Aqua Garden is a game that, based on Heaven Nail, the system in there, it's a game of trying to manage your perfect aquarium. Expansion-wise, I'm not going to go into all of them. There's 6 different expansions. You have a few options here. You have Aqua Garden, the Beachcombing pledge on its own with the new facility expansion over there. That's the lowest pledge at $36 or $38. At $56, you have Beachcombing plus all 3 expansions, 4, 5, and 6. And then at $83, you have Aqua Garden plus the base game and the new expansion. And then for $133, you get the full complete pledge of all 6 expansions, the Beachcombing, the base game, all those things. This gives you the Beachcombing stuff. It gives you a bunch of new stuff, the bottles, sea glasses, the garbage, all those things that'll be in the game over here. And then we have the new facility with some new animals over here. These are the small mini expansions, the sea mimicry with new advanced fish tokens. We have the seaside cottage over here, giving you tokens that relate to the whole beachcombing aspect of the game. A bunch of things going on, but again, like I said, this is Aqua Garden, a 7.4 on Board Game Geek at the moment. This game already delivered, which brings us, I guess, to the should you back it, should you not. And the short version is this one has held its value very well. This is from an international publisher, and it's very hard to get your hands on this outside of the Kickstarter. And we're seeing $133 over here for the all-in. I'm seeing price points on that even just for the base game. Forget all the expansion content you have over here. Forget all the extras. Just for the base game plus the original 3 expansions, I'm seeing price points anywhere from $100 to $150 on Board Game Geek on the marketplace. So I think this is one that absolutely will hold its value. It's not the best rated game. 7.4 is good, but $150 for a 7.4 is a different question you have to ask yourself. But as far as will it hold its value, if you want this game, I do think Kickstarter is totally the way to go, because your options are Kickstarter or hoping for a decently priced copy on the secondhand market. Which brings us to Trick Shot, 2nd edition from Wolf Designer, who have done Guards of Atlantis, who I really need to play. I've played Guards of Atlantis. I need to play Guards of Atlantis too. Either way, Trick Shot, 2nd edition from Wolf Designer, 1,900 backers, 153,000 euro raised, 25 days left to go. This is the 2nd edition of Trick Shot, which means we're going to talk about 2 things here. The first is what's Trick Shot. The second is what are the differences in the 2nd edition. As far as what Trick Shot is a hockey-themed push your luck game. It's if you're scared off by sports, I mean, I'm not. Do I look like I like sports? I mean, I can respect and appreciate sports, but I'm not here for the sports. I'm here for the board games. Trick Shot is an excellent game. I really enjoy this game. I think it's very solid. It's a 2-player only, so you do have to factor that in. But past that, it's a push your luck game. It's effectively a skirmish game, just without the fighting. The skirmish aspect is managing your people, moving across the ice, passing the puck, managing the push your luck system of when you'll pass, when you'll succeed, fail, all these things you're doing as you manage your lineup, as you refresh your bench, all that stuff, as you have these different cards with different characters with different stats on them, your enforcers, archers, your center, your wingers, defense, all that stuff. Your goalie, you can pull the goalie from the net when you really need to. You have all these options in front of you. That's overall what the game is. It's push your luck skirmish game, effectively, just without the hurting and killing people and more the tactical maneuvering of the board. Overall, a very, very solid game. As far as the change to second edition, if I can find my mouse cursor over here, the card pack, well, first of all, the game will run you $89 for the pre-painted edition, which do look very solid, $59 if you don't care about pre-painted or not, and then over here, let's see if we can show you something in painted. Do they have them? They don't have them over here. They have them a little bit lower. Over here you can see an example of the referee pre-painted versus non-painted, so you can get a feel for what they look over here. I have the painted version over here. It's much better than the non-painted or not. And then we have the card pack for the first edition update over here. Card pack's going to run you €15, and this gives you all the changes to the second edition, which they list very nicely. What's new in the second edition? They have, first of all, a new reworked rulebook. So if you've played the first edition, then you probably already know that while it's a fairly simple game, it's more complicated than it needed to be. They had these different restrictions on every single action. They kind of just broke it up. Instead of having, 4 or 5 rules to be mindful of around every action, they just broke up all the actions into difficult or regular actions, so you just have 2 rule sets around how actions work, instead of just having adjustments to every single one. They've gotten rid of the concept of basic and advanced rules. Again, the goal is to streamline a lot of the rule book. They also changed a lot of the lineup cards, as well as some of the stats on the characters. So the whole lineup system in general has been completely changed, so that's totally reworked over there, as well as the side people, whatever you call them, the speed people. They can move 4 now. The wingers, they can move 4 instead of 3, giving them even further movement compared to the center, which the center was just a better winger until now. Now it's more nuanced. And so those are the main changes over there. You can go through that, go them line by line if you want to check it out. But yeah, that's a Trick Shot. Very, very solid game. Highly recommend this one. Lots of content around the game if you want to check it out. I think it's an excellent game, especially if you like hockey. For sure if you like hockey. And if you don't like hockey, if you just want a solid push your luck experience, I think Trick Shot will hit that bill. As far as should you back it, should you not? The short answer is yes, if you want this game in any way, shape, or form. Trick Shot is a game that's Trick Shot is a game that's well rated and hard to get. And when you combine the two of those, this is a game that, like that pre-painted edition over there, goes for much more than that on eBay if you're trying to hunt down a copy. This is a expensive to get your hands on game because they have the first Kickstarter and then nothing since then. And as far as why back now over here, they're pretty specific. This game is hard to find. At the moment, there's no plans for retail distribution. They're going to print what they need for this game found campaign and then a little bit extra, and that's it. So if you want this game combined with the price point of the original game, that's something that's it's now the time to get your hands in it. Also, speaking of which, if you want that card pack, the card pack as well. This is not something that's going to be available on the website forever or anything like that. If you want the card pack, if you are a first edition owner and you want this over here to upgrade your game, this is the place to go ahead and get your hands in it over on this game found campaign, and that is Trick Shot. Which brings us to Trench Club. We have 2 campaigns left before we go into a few upcoming campaigns. We have Trench Club Legacy more specifically. 455 backers, $51,000 raised. This is the Legacy version of Trench Club. Trench Club was a game that was on Kickstarter a while ago. Landed currently on Board Game Geek with an 8.2. That's a very solid rating for this game. This is a war skirmish game which you can be managing your units and all the different units you have, managing their experience that they level up, managing the wounds that they take in a skirmish game that just has generally just been well received on Board Game Geek. Here we go, 8.2 on Board Game Geek, 5 stars on Amazon. I didn't know that. I didn't check that. I don't check Amazon. I check Board Game Geek. But yeah, this is a 1 to 5 player. Well, this is the before we get that. So that's what Trench Club is. Trench Club is a skirmish war game. The Legacy version of Trench Club builds on that, adding a legacy system. And when I say builds on it, I mean literally, to the point that one of the pledge levels is $50 for an upgrade pack to be compatible with your first edition to make it legacy. So you have that opportunity to use the components in the base game while having legacy components on their own. So it gives you the core, it gives you all the stuff that you need for that upgrade pack over there. And then additionally, we have for $89 we have the core game of Trench Club. And then over here, what do we have? And then down here for $109 we have the full legacy version of the game. So there's a few different pledge levels over there, but if you have the original Trench Club, there is a cheap way to get your hands on this one. This is Trench Club Legacy. The map will change, the board will change, you'll unlock units as you progress. So it's basically the same game as it was before, but across a legacy campaign. Again, a high rated game. If you like skirmish games, I haven't played this one at all. I don't know enough about it past the general high-level notes in it, but if you like skirmish games, it's definitely one that's worth paying attention to just from the ratings alone. The ratings on Board Game Geek alone should have you looking at this to see if it's a game for you. And the legacy elements, if you like legacy elements, that introduces legacy to your skirmish game, and that is Trench Club. As far as should you back, should you not, will it hold its value? That's where we get into more of a question mark territory. First of all, this is a legacy game, which inherently does mean that it's less likely to hold any value. But then additionally, past that, even the original Trench Club, you can find it on Board Game Geek right now for like 50, 60 bucks instead of the 90 plus $20 shipping you'll pay here. So overall, this is one that even if you're interested in the game, it might be worth checking the Board Game Geek marketplace to see if you can get your hands in it, because this is one that has not held its value yet. It's just while it is well rated, there's a small enough audience in this one that I think that has contributed to it not holding its value, and with a legacy game being thrown on top of that, I think that's definitely going to hold true for that as well. Moving on, and lastly, we have Spirit Island Nature Incarnate. $717,000 raised, 7,500 backers, 25 days to left, and wow, this is a mess of a campaign. I don't mean that badly. I'm backing the game. I want the game. I love Spirit Island. I think it's excellent. Also, the disclaimer part, I work for GameFound. Take that into account when I'm critical of another platform. But if you're following what's going on in terms of Spirit Island and Nature Incarnate, all that stuff, there's a few things that are a little messy here. And but their own admission as well. They mentioned they wanted to try some new things. They tried some stuff in terms of reveals and achievements. Didn't really work out. Basically, there's not enough information on the game in multiple ways, including some weird question marks around pricing. Some weird stuff going on over here. And those things haven't fully been addressed just yet. Nature Incarnate is the third big box expansion for Spirit Island, not Nature Island. Spirit Island, a fantastic game, highly recommend it. Spirit Island had Branch and Claw, and then they had Jagged Earth, and now they have Nature Incarnate. And then of course they have what's that other one from Target? The Horizons of Spirit Island. They have that one too. Horizons of Spirit Island. Nature Incarnate introduces a few new things. They introduce new aspects for the spirits, and they introduce a new concept called their Incarna, the Incarna of a spirit, which is a powerful manifestation that goes down onto the island, as well as introducing new spirits, new cards, new all of that stuff, and also fun foil options for anyone who wants to. Anyone who backs these games. There's going to be foil options for some spirits as well. Different things you can get your hands on over there. But Nature Incarnate introduces all of that. The problem is they're introducing a lot of information very, very slowly, and with lots of weird random hints. Like over here we have 8 spirits, we have the Emberhide Behemoth, the Hearth Vigil, and then just slow reveals over here, which by the way, this is an update and improvement from what was before, which before was like vaguely like we'll tell you what you're buying as things happen. Like I'm all for stretch goals, I love stretch goal systems, but stretch goal systems are like, hey, you know that base game, we're just not going to tell you details about that thing you're spending lots of money on until you eventually hit enough backers. Don't think that was the best system, and I think it slowed down their growth. I think this campaign should be doing better, and I don't think it's necessarily I don't think it's a backer kit issue. I just think it's a way they try different things. And I'm not saying this to be critical. I'm not. I think that sometimes trying new things is a good thing, and I'm all for trying new things. I think in this case it didn't work for them that well. So we have information that's kind of being locked behind paywalls, effectively, or stretch goal walls. Additionally, as far as the pledge levels over here, the fun little thing you have here is for $55, you have the Nature Incarnate and Foil Spirit panels. For $70, you have Nature Incarnate, Foil Spirit panels, and sleeves. That means the sleeves for Nature Incarnate cost you how much? What's $70 minus $55? That's $15. That's right. But then we go to the Flocking Red Talons expansion over here, where we have Nature Incarnate, the premium tokens. I recommend those premium tokens. They're fantastic. And the Foil Spirit panels for Nature Incarnate. That's going to be $90. If you get those exact same 3 things, plus the sleeves, again, Nature Incarnate, new premium token, new premium token. Foil Spirit panels, and sleeves for Nature Incarnate, which seems to have the exact same distribution. 2 colossal size packs, 2 standard size packs, 1 mini size pack. Yep, that's the same thing we have over here. $125. So we have $15 for sleeves in the Rumbling Earthquakes pack, and we have $35 for sleeves in the Bargain of Coursing Paths pack. And that's been brought up from like the day 1 of the campaign or whenever these were revealed, and they still haven't really addressed that in any way that I've seen, and so that's a giant question mark on the campaign. So we have things like pricing issues, we have things like a lack of information on the campaign, we have the additional aspect that you have to take into account, a lot of the pledge levels. If you want a lot of the stuff, in most cases it's easier and cheaper to just get your stuff from whatever local retailer you want and then get the new stuff here. Meaning these all-in pledges, $340, $470, I recommend not getting most of them. Anything that's a larger pledge, I recommend getting the stuff that's available now from your online retailer. Obviously it depends on where you are, who you are, what country you're in. It does depend on availability, but for many of you it'll be cheaper to just buy the stuff on Amazon or Miniature Market or whatever local game store you want and then get the new stuff on the campaign. Just factor it in before you go ahead and dump $400 here. I want you to have the game. I want you to get it. I think they're fantastic games. Just factor that in before you choose where and how you get it. Additionally, for non-US only, you can get Distant Horizons for $35. This is because in the US you can get it from Target for $35, which I just did and I just played it. I like it. It's more Spirit Island, but it's not like better. It's just more spirits. But past that, if you want to get your hands on Horizons Spirit Island, you could get your hands on this as a non-US non-US person, which I recommend that. I think it's solid. Although, as far as recommend, I should be more clear. I think Horizons of Spirit Island, if you are someone who has Spirit Island and are getting Spirit Island, I think the only benefit of Horizons of Spirit Island at all is the extra 5 spirits. So you guys have to decide that is it worth $7 per spirit for a flimsier cardstocks version of the spirit. Like, I'd happily pay $35 just to get the proper boards of those spirits, but I don't know if that's an option yet, so I'll hold off on that. But I think Horizon of Spirit Island is great. I just don't think you need anything other than the spirits if you are a Spirit Island person already. But for $7 a spirit, honestly, I don't think it's the craziest thing to do either way. But that is Horizon of Spirit Island. A lot of good things here. This is a great game, a great campaign, a great company. They're trying new things, and the campaign is doing $717,000, $18,000. So overall, lots and lots of good things going on here. I also think that it's Spirit Island, and I think that with fewer missteps, this could have been an even larger campaign than it currently is, although we have 25 days left to go, so plenty of time to see how things go in this one. As far as should you back it, should you not, basically short version comes down to it depends on the extras. You likely can get most, if not all, of this stuff if you are patient, if you want to wait. Even with Spirit Island, even the extras they have had in past campaigns generally are available after the fact in various promo option here, promo option there. But I would say if you are someone that wants it all sooner, which I am, and if you are someone that wants to not worry about whether it's available or not available, or the promo pack currently being this and therefore being expensive, if you want to skip all that, I think there's many reasons to get some of the content over here on BackerKit. I think there's many reasons to get the content here, but if you're just concerned with getting the stuff, if you're patient, you'll get the stuff for cheaper down the road. And that is basically everything we have, which brings us to picks of the week. Let's do picks of the week and then upcoming picks of the week. Generally, I do 2 things for picks of the week. I do the game that I am most looking forward to personally, that I just personally want, and the game that I think will hold its value the most. As far as holding the value the most, there's a few possible options because a lot of games here will hold the value just fine, but I am going to pick Oathsworn as the game that is going to have the best hold of value, whatever it is. If you're looking to back a game here and you're unsure, Oathsworn will hold its value just fine. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. As far as the personal interest pick of the week, Oathsworn's always a candidate offhand because I think this game's fantastic, but really there's 2 games that I'm going to pick as the personal interest pick. I don't usually pick 2, but honestly, I like them enough that I didn't want to pick one, so we're going to start with Spirit Island. I think Spirit Island absolutely is fantastic. It's an incredible game, and I think all the content for the game, well, I haven't played all the content. It's an incredible game, and I highly recommend Spirit Island. But past that, I also want to include Race to the Raft, because this game just looks very compelling. I mean, I haven't played this, but looking how it plays, it looks like exactly the kind of game I would enjoy. I'd be shocked if I don't love this game. I'd be shocked. Between the testimonials and the people who've covered the game, and the fact that it looks like my kind of game, I would be very, very surprised if this is a game I don't love. I think it's exactly up my alley, and I'm very much looking forward to this one. Definitely back this one all in. Well, not all in, because I didn't actually care about the extra kittens. I back this game is what I'm saying, and that's where we are with this. And that is everything, which brings us to the upcoming campaigns. We have a few over here. First of all, we have 20 strong over on GameFound, Chip Theory Games, 3,500 people following. This is a Chip Theory campaign. Why are there only 3,500 people following this? This is going to be a small box game from Chip Theory. Very excited for this one. Yeah, it's a small box thing. I mean, I'm curious to see. Chip Theory Games in general has done very solid stuff with large box campaigns, but in terms of their small stuff, they've only done one small thing so far, Trip Lock, and I didn't love that. I'm hoping 20 strong breaks that for me. Then we have Cthulhu Death May Die. 13,000 people following this one. I am very excited for this one. This is going to be launching on Wednesday. Very, very, very excited for it. I'll have content in this, but it will be mid-campaign content, unfortunately. Just timing-wise, I won't have content now. I'll have content mid-campaign. We'll talk about it. I'll be diving into it because why wouldn't I? I mean, yeah, I'll have content on this game. And then lastly, we have Tabriz, also on GameFound, from the designer of Cascadia. Very excited for this one. Very hopeful, optimistic. 10,000 people following this one. Definitely interested in this one and hoping it, well, I mean, design of Cascadia is enough to have me interested, and that's where we are there. And that's everything. With that, I'm going to go ahead and call this. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video. There's a lot going on here. And as always, I hope you have a good one. How do you find Will Smith in the snow? It's easy. Follow the Fresh Prince.